Welcome to Heavy Lalu. In the heart of darkness lies a story untold. A murder shrouded in mystery, where every clue leads deeper into the abyss. Join us on a journey into the unknown, as we piece together the fragments of a puzzle. Chapter 1: Shadows Descend. The rain poured relentlessly, the ominous clouds hanging low over the town of Cedar Falls, casting everything in a somber hue. Detective Jack Harlow stepped out of his car, the weight of the night settling heavily on his shoulders. He pulled his coat tighter around him, the chill seeping into his bones as he approached the crime scene. Flashing lights pierced through the darkness, illuminating the scene where the body of Lila Roberts lay motionless on the wet pavement. Her once vibrant aura now shrouded in the shadows of death. Jack's heart sank at the sight, a familiar pang of sorrow gnawing at his insides. Mark Williams, his loyal partner, stood by the police tape, a grim expression etched on his face. "It's a bad one, Jack," he said, his voice barely audible over the sound of the rain. Jack nodded, his mind already racing with possibilities. He knelt beside the body, careful not to disturb the evidence. Lila's lifeless eyes stared up at the sky, a silent witness to the horrors that had befallen her. As Jack examined the scene, his mind drifted to darker places, memories of past cases haunting his thoughts. He shook his head, trying to push the demons back into the depths of his mind where they belonged. "We need to find out who did this," Mark said, breaking Jack from his reverie. Jack nodded, his jaw set in determination. "We will," he said, his voice firm despite the uncertainty that gnawed at him from within. But as Jack stood there in the cold rain, a chilling realization washed over him. This was no ordinary murder. There was something sinister lurking in the shadows of Cedar Falls, something far more dangerous than he could have ever imagined. And as the rain continued to fall, Jack knew that unraveling the mystery of Lila Roberts' death would only be the beginning of a much darker journey into the depths of his own psyche. Chapter 2: Echoes of the Past. The sun hung low in the sky as Detective Jack Harlow and Officer Mark Williams trudged through the rain-soaked streets of Cedar Falls. The chill of the night still lingered in the air, a tangible reminder of the darkness that had descended upon their town. Jack's mind raced with the weight of their investigation, each step bringing them closer to the truth behind Lila Roberts' murder. The library came into view and Jack began looking for a place to park the car. Another clue was kept in this library. Jack could feel it. Moreover, he knew exactly that what he would find here would be the most important discovery for the investigation. Lila was doing research here, Jack said, stopping in his tracks. Mark raised an eyebrow, his interest piqued. "Research? About what?" Jack's thoughts raced as he tried to piece together the fragments of Lila's life. "I'm not sure, let's see it," he said, determination flashing in his eyes. They entered the library, the musty scent of old books filling the air. Jack approached the librarian, his voice firm yet polite. "We're looking for information about Lila Roberts. We know that she was doing research here. Do you remember Lila Roberts?" he said, and showed her his badge. The librarian's eyes widened in surprise and she asked herself, "Lila Roberts?" But she soon figured it out. "Lila Roberts, right? I remember this girl," with kind face expression. "Come with me," told them her and led them to a dusty corner of the library where rows of books lined the shelves. As Jack scanned the titles, a familiar name caught his eye: The Shadows of Cedar Falls, a history of sects and secret societies. He pulled the book from the shelf, his hands trembling with anticipation. Mark peered over his shoulder, his curiosity piqued. "What did you find?" Jack flipped through the pages, his eyes scanning the text for any mention of the sect. And then, there it was, nestled among the pages like a dark whisper from the past. "The Order of the Shadowed Veil," Jack read aloud, his voice barely above a whisper. "A secretive cult rumored to have existed for centuries, operating in the shadows of Cedar Falls." Mark's eyes widened in disbelief. "Do you think they're connected to Lila's murder?" Jack nodded, his mind racing with possibilities. "It's worth looking into. If Lila was researching the sect, then she must have stumbled onto something significant." As they left the library, the weight of their discovery hung heavy. Mark seemed to remember something about this sect, but he had no answers as to why he should know that. Existence of the sect is presence a dark omen of the dangers that lay ahead to them. And as Jack and Mark set out to uncover the truth, they knew that their journey had only just begun. Chapter 3: Unraveling Darkness. The nights had grown longer in Cedar Falls, the shadows stretching their tendrils over the town like a suffocating blanket. Detective Jack Harlow found himself trapped in a waking nightmare, his mind a battleground between light and darkness. As the investigation into Lila Roberts' murder continued, Jack's facade of control began to crumble, revealing the sinister forces that lay dormant within him. In the solitude of his apartment, Jack wrestled with memories that felt foreign yet strangely familiar. Flashes of images flickered through his mind like fragments of a shattered mirror, reflecting a reality he couldn't comprehend. And he had feeling that the reality in mind was reality of him, but how? His psychologist Dr. Emily Hayes' concern weighed heavily on Jack's shoulders, her probing questions digging deeper into his psyche than he dared to venture. He brushed off her inquiries with practiced ease, and concealing the truth behind a mask of stoicism, the truth which was scary and unbelievable. His footsteps guided by a force he couldn't resist. Mark Williams watched his friend with growing unease, the lines of trust blurring in the face of mounting evidence. He struggled to reconcile the man he knew with the one he saw before him, torn between loyalty and duty. Because Jack's actions became very strange after a few days of investigation. Father Thomas Matthews, a human who knows too much about the sect and wrestled with his own demons, the weight of knowledge heavy upon his soul. He knew the truth behind the sect that haunted Cedar Falls, a truth he had sworn to protect at any cost. Watching Jack's every move, for fear of revealing any aspect of the secret. As Jack delved deeper into the investigation, he unwittingly drew closer to the heart of the darkness that consumed him. His alter ego whispered in his ear, its voice a haunting echo of his own, driving him ever onward into the abyss. Emily's warnings fell on deaf ears as Jack plunged headlong into the abyss, his mind a battleground between light and darkness. He knew that the truth awaited him in the shadows, a truth he couldn't escape, no matter how hard he tried. With each passing day, Jack felt the walls closing in around him, the boundaries between reality and illusion blurring beyond recognition. He stood on the precipice of a revelation, the key to his salvation or his damnation. In the darkness of his own mind, Jack faced his alter ego, the embodiment of all his fears and desires. Their confrontation was a symphony of chaos and despair, a battle for control that would determine the fate of Cedar Falls and all who dwelled within its shadowy embrace. And as the echoes of their struggle faded into the night, a chilling realization dawned upon Jack. The true enemy lay not in the shadows that surrounded him, but within the depths of his own soul.
If you liked the video, please like and subscribe for part 2.